One thing I remember is that every Christmas, my mom would make homemade tamales. And it was a real big production because she would make several hundred and freeze them and give them away. My sisters would help her. And it would be over about a 2 or 3 week period that they would be making them leading up to Christmas. And one thing she would do is she would put an olive in each tamale. And we had a little game that some tamales we would put 2 olives. And if you were lucky enough to get the olive that had 2 tamales in it, then that means you could have another one. So when I got a little older and I could help her, I would always make sure I put 2 tamales wherever I could. I mean, 2 olives in the tamales, so I'd be able to get another one if I chose that tamale. But they were so good. She would use a red New Mexico chili that my uncle who lived in New Mexico would send her in the mail, these dried chilies. They were really hot, but added a lot of great flavor. She would make beef and pork. She would get pork roast and a beef roast and shred the meat. Then she would use like a food processor. Well, back in those days, it was just like a blender to make the chili. And then she would go to a market, a Mexican market, to get the masa, which is like the dough that you use, and then the corn husks to make the tamales. But everybody loved those tamales. That was really her specialty for Christmas. And then Thanksgiving we would have the traditional turkey usually, or ham. But my mom was great at making tacos. Every Thursday when I was growing up was taco night because Thursday happened to be her day off. She worked full time at Bullock's department store. It's now known as Macy's, but back then it was J.J. Bullock's. And she worked there in the housewares department as a saleswoman. And that's how come she used to get a lot of prizes, and they would award sales prizes for who sells the most. Like she would blenders and just housewares. That was the name of the department she worked in, housewares department. All cooking utensils. And back in the 60s is when a lot of the electric cooking utensils started to become popular, like rotisseries and different types of modern electric cooking products. So I remember going to visit her at Bullock's downtown on 7th and Broadway, and going to Clifton's cafeteria for lunch. She would take me there for lunch sometimes in her lunch break. And I would go there to buy school clothes because she got the discount from the store. So I would get some pretty nice clothes from Bullock's. It was a lot of fun. Even though in Catholic school we wore uniforms, salt and pepper corduroy pants with a white shirt.